Hello, everybody, and welcome to our auction video. That is correct. This is actual footage from an actual auction in an actual town in West Virginia, and it is a online auction. But this is the preview. There's a 2-hour preview that you can do, and I can't believe these eagles went for so cheap. I'm kicking myself because I usually don't bid on this patriotic stuff because there's a bunch of people who bid that stuff up and in this part of the Maryland West Virginia border. But anyway, what it is a combination of new and old, vintage, and see, you can see some L.E. Smith glass there, like a sugar bowl and a creamer, and just tons of glass. Tons. There's some Fenton glass right there. That dish went I wouldn't say very cheap, but cheap for that. Usually people really bid up the Fenton glass, and any known glass maker will go for a lot of money at this auction, usually. And and here's like several things I don't know much about, like these cast iron toys. I couldn't tell you if that's authentic or a reproduction, so I just stay away. I try to stay in my lane, as it were. Now, this Fenton stuff, like, I think that's a pretty good deal on that Bud vase, and but yeah, Fenton's not necessarily my thing. Um, and this depression glass is very nice, but it's not, again, not my. I try to do 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. So I guess going to these auctions, I'm going to have to learn about, get outside of my comfort zone, because you can find some really, really incredible deals at these auctions. We have found some amazing things. Oh, there's a goose. Don't tell my research guy or she'll acquire yet another goose. This was a nice piece. This is Viking glass all the way, and I know that because I probably had it before, but it said depression glass, so they were a few decades off on that one. But there's more Christmas ornaments, oil lamps, ornaments new and old, not just new stuff. That's what I love about this preview. It's one of my favorite things to do is go to this. This radio it went dirt cheap, $5. I'm sure it doesn't work. I don't need any more projects, any more radios that don't work. But good looking radio. I can't believe I found this. This was a chirping electronic bird sound out of an ornament. And I remember being as a kid going to like these department stores that don't exist anymore, like Lazarus, and and seeing these in the tree, the sound of this chirping bird would come out, and I always wondered where it was. And I hadn't even thought of this till then, till I saw that ornament. This was an old folk art owl piece. Somebody put some time into these rock owls with googly eyes, and they put them in this piece of driftwood, but it was missing several of the owls. You could see where the glue was still there, but the owl was gone. So I stayed away. Always a lot of books at these auctions, and you gotta really want it to go through the books. You can see there is a ton of grime on this stuff. These radios have a thick coat of absolute filth. And I love old radios, but those were not nice enough for me to even consider purchasing or even bidding on those old radios. But, had they been nicer, maybe. That Tasmanian devil blanket went by pretty fast. And here's a hot tip. Some of those old Looney Tunes blankets, certain patterns, keep an eye out for the price. They go for some crazy money. You can get like $50 for an old blanket that's got the right combination of Looney Tunes characters if they're vintage, and even into the 90s. This Pyrex I knew was going to go crazy. I knew that they would go to the point where you couldn't buy it and sell it and make any money. So I just stayed away from the Pyrex. And this kind of stuff, though, is what maybe maybe not that box, but some of these big lots where you find stuff in it is great for us because we have 3 booths at antique malls and an indoor flea market. So we're always looking to add to our stuff. But this was an interesting one, this crank device with these gears. I still am not sure what this is, but I loved it. I just thought it was super industrial and unusual. And it only went for $2, which is kind of nuts. And we were hoping that this saw would fall to us. We saw this crazy, it's called like a right saw, and it is like the precursor to the Sawzall. It's got that very menacing looking jawline, if you can call it that. But we did not win the right saw. But cool typewriter, lot of glass. Always, always, always some glass at these. A couple Buddhas back there. I was interested in the wooden one on the left, not the ceramic on the right, but yeah, we got to dig through this stuff. These 2 little kitty cats, MCM kitty cats. One of the tails you can see is broken off there, which just absolutely destroys it for me. These jadeite bowls and plates, I'm sure these are worth 3 times that, but I just don't know that market well enough to know. If I'm going to spend $60 at this auction, it's going to be on several lots, probably not just one. But these old Christmas ornaments, I was a fan of for sure. There was a ton of Christmas ornaments, old, and I just assumed they would go for, I think, more than they did. And there was a few lots like that surprised me in this auction and went for cheaper than I thought they would go for. But and this one didn't even sell. Look at that, a giant high C can, unsold. You don't say. You don't say it went unsold. Nobody bought the high C. But some old Women's Day magazines, not great. I'm looking for better titles, although the ads in those, some people are interested in that. Now, this green glass thing was nice, but the real treasure was behind this are some Indy 500 glasses from the 70s that I didn't even see, but guess who did? My research guy. She's the best. And then I found this, look at that, shell art. I'm a shell art connoisseur, but that one was cracked, so we left it there. But lawn darts, boy, you're just not at an auction preview unless you're throwing down on some jarts or lawn darts, as they were called. There was a lady at the auction that said, "Can you even sell these legally?" Beat it, lady. But this lamp was one of the coolest things we found. Folk art, weird things glued to it, Cracker Jack toys, miscellaneous smalls, even a human gold tooth. A human tooth, gold tooth is glued to the, and $8. Are you kidding me? Is that what this thing goes for? $8? Oh gosh, I still marvel at that number. Price realized, as they say in the auction world. They realized a price of $8. But you can see a lot of, well, let's just call it what it is, treasure. And that's one of my favorite stories. A guy said, I asked a guy, the record store guy, Jerry, "Hey Jerry, did you find any treasures lately?" He goes, "They're all treasures to somebody." That's his motto. Somebody out there loves, is going to buy one of these lots and be happy with it. But look at the faces: milk glass, cobalt blue glass, pink glass, rose colored. Yeah, just tons and tons of this stuff, and all covered in some kind of soot-like substance. Just grimy. Absolutely. Yeah, some woodworking stuff, maybe some cobbler stuff, more bottles. There was such a good auction for bottles and aluminum cans. Some of the coolest bottles and aluminum cans. And like any auction, there's always going to be, old tools, those planes back there. Um, Always old tools, always glass. It's one of my favorite things to do is this preview. Avon calling, ding dong. Um, that set of plates, that set of dishes right there is a fantastic set of dishes. I can't remember what they're called, but I was too busy. My my girlfriend found those dishes. I was too busy getting into this poster. I was looking at these. They're like Wells Fargo posters. What they look like is the tables in the old Arthur Treacher's fish and chips restaurant. They had old newspaper tables. These Avon things. Again, I'm a sucker. I'll stop and look at the Avon, and if I can pick that up cheap, I want it. But one of those was cracked and broken, and maybe glued back together. I don't remember, but it was enough to make me say, I'm not bidding on that. Collector plates, Wizard of Oz. Wake me up when it's over. The collector plate phenomenon. There was some religious paraphernalia here. A lot of bottles, some silverware. These buttons from like a Kleenex factory or something. I don't know what these buttons were of tissue boxes or in Kleenex. It's just such an odd pushback pin. But this was the oddest lot, which is the mismatched salt and pepper shakers. If you could get unlucky that many times, or you'd have to explain that to me. I don't know why someone paid $4 for that, but I did like the RCA dog that you saw in the box. But that's a classic set of salt and pepper shakers. The hanging from a tree squirrels, adorbs. But there I am again, picking up lots that I'm not going to purchase. I see green glass and I inspect it. I want to capitalize on some green glass, if at all possible. And as you can see, some people would think this is a nightmare. It's one of my absolute favorite things to do. I am unapologetic. My girlfriend also, fiance also loves to do this. So we are a formidable team. Deal Team 6, as we are known. You can pick up Deal Team 6 t-shirts if you want. Yeah, all kinds of fixtures. We're actually going to be meeting up. You're going to be seeing my fiance here pretty soon, because this is a 13-minute video, and we're pert near. That's a 15. Yeah, we don't have much time, is what I'm saying. If you've been paying attention, these radios and tape player. I wanted that tape player, I really did. But how do you test it? Oh, I left my Castingle of Roxette in the car, so I can't. I left my Castingle at home, so I can't test it out. But here's some aluminum stuff that I find. Here's what I've learned. I'm going to tell you right now. What I've learned is just because it's old doesn't mean people will want to buy it. Okay, that's a cool looking thing, but what is it? Does it have a function? Does it this cookware? And I liked the wood handle. I did. Right there in that lot, Indiana Jones's hat. I can't believe it. Yeah, the Indiana Jones. In hindsight, letting that lot go for $1 was probably stupid, with a piece of cinematic history in there. More new stuff. There's the shell art that we passed on. Some brass, some religious artifacts. Something for everybody. These glasses were great. These bird glasses, I did like those, and they went pretty cheap. So yeah, you can't buy everything. I like these rocks glasses, but if you'll notice in the picture, I think one is taller than the other, and I know they're hand blown, but can you get them in the neighborhood of, close to each other? That's what I'm looking for. There it is. Yeah, it's a bad look, but I act like I didn't get outbid on them. I act like I didn't want them. See, that's how I cope. That's how I cope with these things, because you truly can't. What are you going to do with it? Oh, I know what I'm going to do with her. I'm going to marry her. All right. Thanks for coming to our auction preview. You guys have been great. Remember, always round up.